Hey, welcome to the Huntsville Hustle podcast, where we share the stories and people behind the businesses that help Huntsville thrive. And I want to switch it up this week and talk about what I consider kind of the top 15 books for small business owners. So you could easily have a ton more. And I'd love to hear what you guys read and what has helped you in the past. But I went through this list and kind of wrote down a short reason why you should read these books and kind of my biggest takeaway from these, kind of the Cliff Notes, super Cliff Notes version of these. So if one piques your interest, I'd suggest go read the whole thing. It's a pretty good list right here, not going to lie. But once again, I'd love to hear your list. I'm always looking to learn and read. So let's get into it. So number one, the EMyth Revisited by Michael Gerber. And why you should read it is most owners get trapped working on the business or just in the business rather than on the business. Like you're not growing anymore. You're just in the day-to-day so much. That's on the podcast that has come up over and over how people, when they were doing that, their business was not growing. But when they got that bigger picture, it kind of showed in this book what it does for you. It's going to show you how to build a system so your company can run without you. And the number one takeaway I got from this book is you want to document every core task as a repeatable process that a new hires can come in and follow. And that's going to free you up so you're not doing that daily, putting out fires left and right. It can run without you and you can grow the business while the other people are doing the in the business type of stuff. So the next one, number two, Profit First by Michael Lowitz. He's on here twice and I still can't say his name. So the first one is Profit First. Why you should read this one is because traditional accounting will tell you to put profits last. Easy for me to say. And that's why, in my opinion, that so many small business, because they stay broke, they go out of business. 1 in 5 go out of business in their first year. I think this is a big reason. So this method teaches you to forces you to pay yourself first, and you're going to stay cash positive from day one. So the biggest takeaway from that is you want to transfer a fixed percentage of every deposit into a profit account before paying any expenses. I know it's backwards from what you hear a lot, but also a lot of people are going broke. So maybe you should try something different. So Profit First, given right there. Number 3, Built to Sell by John Warrillow. And why you should read this is it's a story-driven lesson, those always speak to me. It's about turning a service business into an asset that's valuable and one that you can sell, even if you never plan to sell it. And the biggest takeaway I got from that is you want to narrow what you offer to one scalable product or service you can price and deliver the same way every time. Whether you like McDonald's or not, that's what made them successful. They got it dialed in. If you go in Des Moines, Iowa, or Huntsville, Alabama, wherever you go, for the most part, the ice cream machine is broken, but everything else working like champ. Like same burgers, fries. Where the taste, we'll talk about something different, but they got the processes down. That's what you want, whether you want to sell your business or not. Number 4 is Traction by Gino Wickman. And why you should read it is provides an entrepreneurial operating system, the EOS. And it's a straightforward playbook for your vision, your accountability, execution. I think we all need that operating system right there. So a big takeaway from that is you want to hold a weekly level 10 meeting with a set agenda to review metrics, solve issues, keep everyone aligned. So it's accountability, it's review, it's everyone's getting on the same page, not shooting all over the place, doing all this crazy stuff. Get everybody in line, working in the same direction, holding people accountable. You got to do that every week. Number 5, The Lean Startup by Eric Ries. And you should read that because it teaches you to test ideas quickly and cheaply so you stop wasting time and money on unproven assumptions. So a big lesson I got from that is you want to launch your MVP, minimum viable product. It's got just enough features to measure real customer feedback and then reiterate that fast after that. So you can be light on your feet, ready, shoot, aim, take the action, put it out there, fix it as you go. That's another big lesson that's come up on the podcast interviews I've been doing is people, money loves speed, they say. So you got to get out there and fix it as you go. It's never going to be perfect. Put it out there as good as you can get it and then fix it as you go. Speaking of good to great, that's the next one, Good to Great by Jim Collins. And why you should read that, it talks about a lot of the research it's done on the best companies that outperform everybody else in the market and the principles you can scale down to a 10-person team. And a big takeaway from that is first who, then what. I hadn't thought about this one before, but it talks about you get the right people on board and the wrong people off, right? Before finalizing your strategy. Strategy follows talent. I think we try to fit people into what our vision is and our strategy is, but we got to fit the talent. The talent kind of drives the strategy. It's kind of a backward approach to how most people do it. So it's pretty interesting takeaway I thought on that one. Number 7, Start With Why by Simon Sinek. Also has an awesome TED Talk on this if you're not into reading full books. But it just talks about how it shows a clear purpose attracts loyal customers and committed employees better than any feature list or discount or anything like that. So the big takeaway I got from that is you want to communicate your why in everything you do, your pitch, your policy, so people buy into the mission, not just the product. It's beyond what, see, you think about some of the biggest ones in the world like that. They talk about Apple and things like that kind of people figure just the brand, not just what they sell, but it's a branded thing. Why they do what they do is very important. Number 8 is Influenced by Robert B. Cialdini, and it breaks down 6 psychological triggers that drive every buying decision, whether that's sales, marketing, negotiations. It breaks down the kind of the brain side of things on that, which I always thought was pretty cool. A big part of that is using social proof, testimonials, case studies. That stuff in our business is so important, especially now when there's so many ads. Like if you get on Facebook, scroll once, there's an ad. Scroll twice, there's ads all throughout there. But when it's your customers and people that have actually been through it and they're talking about your business rather than you or an ad talking about your business, it's going to go so much further, especially in today's market. So you kind of get the psychological things. If you're interested in that side of things, that's a great book for that. Number 9 is Purple Cow by Seth Godin. Just a big Seth Godin fan in general. But this one, it just talks about, it's a short one too. So this is a good short read. And it argues that being remarkable beats being slightly better. Kind of bland brands, they fall apart in a crowded market, right? So you want to stand out in a way. And it talks about the big takeaway I got is design one talk-worthy feature that makes your offering impossible to ignore. Do you have that right now? That's something you might need to think about. Okay, so that's a good book right there. It's a short read, good one right there. Number 10 is my all-time favorite book on habits, Atomic Habits by James Clear. And it just shows how tiny, consistent habits compounded in massive results. Perfect when you're juggling those multiple roles like a lot of us do as small business owners. And this is a huge part of how I coach my health and fitness clients as well. It's an amazing book on habits. If you want to know about habits, I can't recommend this book highly enough. One of my big takeaways from that is habit stacking, critical tasks and routines that you already do to make follow through seem automatic. When I do this, I also do that. So if you're already doing one thing, then add the next habit right on top of that. That way, it's easy for a brain to understand that rather than creating an entire new habit. You're just stacking in one habit on top of one that's already existing, makes it easier on your brain. Your brain appreciates that. All right, the next one is number 11, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Timeless classic right here. It's about relationship building that's going to drive sales, customer service, leadership. It's all about those relationships, right? And a big takeaway from this is give genuine appreciation and listen more than you speak. That's going to build rapport so much faster than anything else. I remember I did a podcast one time and I asked this dude one question and he talked for 30 minutes straight. And then at the end, he said, "Man, you are really good at this podcasting stuff." Like, yeah, I'm out here crushing it, asking one question. But you learn how to listen. If you want to get clients, if you want to build your team up, you got to listen more than you talk. All right. So next one, number 12, The One-Page Marketing Plan by Alan Dibb. So why you want to read this is it turns overwhelming marketing theory into one single sheet you can create and execute quickly. And the big takeaway I got from that is you want to map out the entire customer journey from awareness to even after the sale on one page and see what kind of gaps you can expose in there, and then focus your efforts on that to close those gaps in. But figure out what it looks like from before they knew you to after they've made the sale. What did that journey look like? And you want to recreate that, right? So closing the gaps, put it on one page, simplify things. If you're like me, you're a simple person, you need simple things. All right, number 13 is Clockwork by the same guy. I can't say his name, Michaelowitz, something like that. I should probably know how to know his name if I'm going to recommend 2 of his books, but it's Clockwork by that guy. And why you read it expands on systemization with a framework that lets the business run smoothly while you step away. If you can't step away from your business, then you just own a job, right? If you own a business, you should be able to step away. So a big takeaway from that is identifying your queen bee role, which I thought was a cool way to look at it. That's the activity customers value the most, and ensure that that's protected above anything else. So what's the most valuable thing in your company? What is that? And that your customers value, not what you or anyone else, what they value the most, and make sure that that's protected and entrusted every week. And then you consistently deliver that to your customers. Number 14, Deep Work by Cal Newport. It teaches the power of distraction-free focus. And that's a competitive edge when your time is the scarcest resource, right? Most of us do not have time. I'm guilty of this one right here. It recommends, my big takeaway is to block at least one 90-minute session of uninterrupted focus each day for your high-value task. Do I do that? Absolutely not. Do I go once a week? Not consistently. But when I do, it is extremely helpful. Side note to myself, get back to doing that. 90 minutes of deep work, man. When's the last time? We do a lot of surface level things, but when that deep work's really going to move your business forward, I think it's worth the time. And if I'll do it, I'll quit being a hypocrite and we'll move forward together, right? So try that out. Maybe you start with 30 minutes, but do that deep, uninterrupted work. It's going to move your business forward. So that's a big takeaway for me. Number 15, The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. Another kind of a little controversial for some people. But so why you want to read it, though, it challenges business owners to automate and delegate aggressively so they can design the life and business they actually want. It gets back to the lifestyle you want, right? You don't want to just own a job. You want your lifestyle. Though there's no one working just 4 hours a week making millions that I know of. If they do, let me know what they do, and I want to get in that too. But that's kind of it's to sell books, right? The 4-Hour Workweek title. Nobody has that, but there are some ways to make it easier so you're not working 100 hours each week. So a big takeaway from that is outsourcing those low value tasks so you can spend your time on your growth, your strategy, and that meaningful work that actually moves the business forward, like we were talking about. So that's my top 15 books right there. Hope you enjoyed that. Episode 23 back in the day, I hit the highlights from another one of my favorites, Think and Grow Rich. That's why I didn't include it on this list right here, but that's an amazing book as well. But like I said, please let me know what I should read next. I'm very interested in learning more about this stuff. So I hope you are too. And I hope you'll come back next week on the Huntsville Hustle podcast.